Good morning and Happy New Year. Welcome all of you who were able to weather the inclement conditions we have outside and make it here today. We want to thank you for that effort, and it's certainly a pleasure to have all of you here with us. Happy New Year and welcome as well to the board members who are here. I want to thank you as well for weathering this inclement weather. I call to order the first meeting of the Board of Supervisors for the University of Louisiana system for this year. Before we begin, I want to remind all of you that anyone who wishes to make a public comment on an agenda item will need to complete a public comment card and provide it to a system staff member. And we recognize your questions at that time or comments. Those cards are on the far of this room near the auditorium. Carol, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Barry Busada. Mr. Steve Davison.
Here.
Mr. Ronald Hogan. Mr. Lee Jackson. Dr. Joe Leatherman. Mr. Keith Myers. Ms. Maria Nechaeva. Dr. John Noble. Mr. Al Perkins. Mr. Dana Peterson.
Here.
Ms. Elizabeth Pierre.
Here.
Mr. Mark Romero.
Here.
Ms. Christine Russell. Here. Mr. Robert Salim.
Here.
Mr. Brad Stevens. Ms. Julie Stokes. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Carol. At this time, Mr. Hogan will give an invocation and Supervisor Salim will lead us in the pledge.
Let's bow our heads. Father, we thank you that you give us the opportunity to serve you today, Lord, in the capacity of higher education. Father, we thank you for the gifts and talents you've given us, each unique and each committed to this service. Lord, we pray that your hand be upon us throughout the business today and throughout the rest of the week as we go about our activities. Lord, we lift up our friend and colleague, Dr. John Noble. Pray that you would give him healing and have your hand upon his family. Father God, direct us, keep us, and show us your way. We pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item of business is the administration of oaths for the new officers that are seated for this year. At our December meeting, Ms. Christine Russell was elected to serve as vice chair, and Mr. Steve Davison was selected as the parliamentarian for the year. President Gallo will meet y'all in front of the dais and administer your oaths at this time. Congratulations. It's certainly an honor to serve with both of you, and Supervisor Russell and Supervisor Davison, if y'all would maybe want to make a few comments at this time.
Yeah, it's truly an honor to serve with this group of men and women. I've gotten to know all of you this past year or so, and I really say I've served on many boards and commissions, but this truly is a remarkable group of people who all have a common interest. And so again, thank you. I'm humbled and I'm honored to serve as vice chair this year.
Oh, man, I just won't tell everybody what he owes. Um, our next item of business is a report from the University of Louisiana at Monroe. I want to welcome Dr. Castile up and her team. Obviously, the University of Louisiana at Monroe has submitted a request for approval to conclude 5 degree programs, including the Bachelor in Science in Agribusiness, Bachelor of Science in Health Studies, Bachelor's in Management, Bachelor's in Modern Languages, and Master's in Gerontology. I'd like to turn the floor over to Dr. Castile at this time.
So much. So, good morning, President Gallo, Chairman Romero. Yeah, it's green. And how about now? Good. Thanks. So I also have with me Provost Michelle McCann, Dr. McCann, as well as our Vice President for Business Affairs, Dr. Bill Graves, who's going to also be there to answer any questions that you might have. So we went through a process over the last several months, actually the last few months, of evaluating and conducting what we're considering a campus-wide assessment. So it's comprehensive, and we started with academics. We're also going to continue that assessment with our administrative functions and our administrative support functions, as well as athletics. So we started with academics. You might recall that early on during my tenure, I met with 50 CEOs in 50 days and had conversations with them about how are we doing with our programs? Are you hiring our graduates? If you are hiring our graduates, are they day one ready? Are they work ready? If you're not hiring our graduates, why aren't we? And then input about various programs. We gathered that input and started with this process. We met with every single program, over 50 programs at the University of Louisiana Monroe. We had data, and we basically asked for information and data on 4 KPIs. So recruitment, retention, graduation, and job placement. And so we took historic data and met with all of the program coordinators, the deans, et cetera, and had that conversation. We arrived on these 5 programs for elimination that we're proposing today. We understand that hard decisions are made. We've had conversations with faculty. In fact, they were notified on January 14th, of course, pending board approval, but of the elimination of these programs. We've also met with our students that are potentially impacted by these decisions and made sure that we are communicating with them that we have teach-out plans and they will graduate with the degree that they came in for unless there's any interruption. So just wanted to explain that process to them. So really grateful for the team that worked together on this, the data that we had, so our data team, but also making sure that we treat this with compassion and care. So I'll stop there and answer any questions that you might have. We also can talk about our teach-out plans and those types of things, as well as any type of financial savings. But I also want to stress that, while there is a cost savings, it's more about student success and reinvesting those resources back with our students, right? And so, our first priority around this action was really to be able to make sure that we have relevant programs from here and 20 years beyond. So I'll stop.
Any questions?
Since this is, I guess, the first one we've seen, and sometimes the provost would just briefly talk about what teach out looks like. It may be helpful just to hear a little bit about.
Absolutely. So there are 5 programs, and those include over all of them. They are modern languages, gerontology, management, the health studies degree,
Agribusiness.
agribusiness, yes. Those are the 5 programs. Any of these cases, courses in those programs will continue to be offered in some way, shape, or form. For instance, management classes will continue to have to offer a number of those courses to meet the business administration degree requirements as well as the MBA program. We hope eventually that MA, HRM, Master's Arts and Resource Management. So those courses, again, we expect some of those to continue, just not all of them. Program. Same thing with modern languages. It is expected that some of those have to continue to meet the needs of other programs that require language as part of their degree program. Agribusiness, I'd like to mention in particular because we've heard industry, multiple different ways, entities and individuals that really what is expected and needed. Our market are students or graduates that have business acumen, know some. So we have an opportunity for those students to also do that through a business administration degree with form of emphasis or concentration in agriculture. Okay? So we are looking at how can we make this more valuable to the student. In terms of actual teach-out plans, the deans, the school directors, and the program coordinators are right now working with students individually. They're identifying where they are in the process, meaning freshman, sophomore, what's left, how many of those degree plans, when do we need to offer, when is it needed so that we can teach those individuals. So between the fact that we are going to offer some of these continuing, as well as analysis per student, let's look at each one of these students. Also identifying which faculty, which programs we can offer courses so that those are taken care of. We're also working with faculty in terms of what they got ahead, where they go, so process. First call to action is getting the students taken care of, stress, and
And unless board members have any questions, the last thing I would just point out is that these programs have consistently been on the low completer reports that are assessments that are done every year. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that.
Thank you, President Castillo. What's the high level connecting thing between these programs that have been selected is low demand, and we don't believe that there's low demand from employers plus low demand from student body too?
Yeah,
Is that
so
we would connect?
again, looking at the 4 factors around recruitment, retention, graduation, and job placement. We looked at all 4 of these, right? So it's not just one of those factors as much as it is consistently with those over historic, right? So we looked through, I think it was at least 5 years worth of data. I'll be the first to acknowledge that something like agribusiness hits very close to home for me. And, my life's work has been around agriculture. Based on, for example, some of the input that we heard is particularly from our producers and those students as well that have graduated from the program. They expressed that for them, in terms of the job market, a business degree is more valuable than an actual agribusiness degree. So therefore making those changes. So consistently amongst those 4 KPIs, and that's really the common thread.
Yeah. And will this evaluative process continue? I mean, are you going to continue to look at other programs and potentially could be back before the board saying these other programs we feel?
So we are going to continue this analysis. We actually sat yesterday and built out the calendar for when we're going to continue. So this is going to be an ongoing process every year. And again, what we don't want to create any alarm, but we're doing our due diligence to make sure that our degree programs create real opportunities for our students and that we are in alignment with the workforce development needs of the region.
So how do you manage that?
Manage what?
Manage the potential for alarm amongst the rest of the faculty and student body about their program?
Yep. So we've been very, very aggressive with our communication. Of course, there were conversations with our deans early on, and those impacted programs and faculty. So we had those conversations. We're developing a set of FAQs to make sure that how we talk about this, of course, is with care and compassion, but also with facts. Because again, I think I've had to clarify a couple of times that students will graduate with the degrees that they came in to graduate with. And then again, making sure that people understand that this is not as much of a budgetary action as much as this is realignment, and making sure that we have resources for all of our programs and reinvesting those towards students.
Thank you.
I'd like to add that the big process establishment second calendar, that's being communicated through a document developed as to when the next review. So also process of identifying other programs, see some potential concerns from sure or potentially good, give very direct feedback that look, this looks iffy, you're gonna have to work with this. So we definitely get those accomplished and that's a very process.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have one quick question. Before the question, I would commend Dr. Castile and her staff for the reallocation of resource and meeting the needs that are before us of both the employers and the students. Is there, and I know it's a little bit fluid, but is there a broad range of potential cost savings or bottom line impact to this realignment?
Sure. So we were actually having that conversation early on. The range that I've received is about $500,000 to about $750,000.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to ask one question on two of these, the agribusiness and I guess on management as well. It just seems like there could be some other school that the university could cooperate with, in our other institutions where we can do a satellite class. Is that anything that's been looked at, or is it just not possible at this point?
It's extremely possible. We're actually scheduling meetings with the other institutions within system to be able to look at not just opportunities here for these programs, but all opportunities.
Yeah.
Using the word systemness, right? So there are, and I will say, I was faculty at the LSU Ag Center, and where the Ag Center really has a very, very strong program around agriculture. LSU Alexandria, for example, which is a couple of hours away, we've had those conversations with them as well. I also want to bring in the community college piece and looking at those direct pathways. So really looking at how we can continue to work together. We meet every month with Chancellor Hoggard and his team to talk about these types of opportunities. So we're looking at it from multiple directions. The opportunity to partner, I've said this and I've said this publicly, either you partner or you perish. So.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Any other questions? I would also like to commend the deliberate effort you all put towards evaluating the merits of programs that we provide access to for our students, and, assuring that serves as a bridge to bring them into employment that helps them to have a successful career life and other achievements in their future. I know that oftentimes it's difficult. It seems that most times, there is an underlying interest to do it for financial reasons. I realize this is about doing things to be practical, to remain competitive, and to put our students' interests first and accomplishing those things that are aligned with the mission of ULM. So thank all of you for this real heartfelt effort. I know through communications over the time you were evaluating these programs that it wasn't an easy decision. You didn't arrive at it without good, deep, comprehensive review. And I think that's the quality of work and approach that we all appreciate as a board and it gives us a good ability to take necessary action. So hearing that, is there a motion or a second to approve these items?
So moved.
Moved by Supervisor Hogan, second by Supervisor Stokes. Any other questions, comments from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
And at this time, President Gallo has an update on a few items for us today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a follow-up to the November 13th, 2025 board resolution to strengthen and integrate system-wide operations through a comprehensive transformation initiative, we at the system office have established a task force, which includes campus presidents, CFOs, CIOs, provosts, ADs, and faculty and student leaders. We intend to have our first meeting of the task force in conjunction with the next board meeting in Lake Charles next month. We've engaged with qualified external partners to advise and assist in the data collection and feasibility analysis of system transformation work. Joining us today is one of our primary partners in this work, Dr. Jim Johnson, a senior fellow at the National Association of Higher Education Systems, also referred to as NASH. Dr. Johnson will share some of his insights on the state of higher education systems across the country and help us think about the value and challenge of the work that is before us. And as the former system president of University of Alaska system, he's lived what we've contemplated. And so we could not have selected a better thought partner to engage in this work. So at this time, I would turn it over to Dr. Jim Johnson.
Thank you very much, President Gallo. Thanks, Chair Murrow. Thanks to all of you for the opportunity to work together to strengthen this great university system. You have recognized the fact that this system is a very powerful engine for social mobility and economic development in your state. And again, you have a great system and it can be even greater as you move through a transformation and integration process as you envision. And of course, it's critically important. As the president just talked about these program reductions, the purpose here is to support students ultimately, and to support regions, and to support communities, and to support your state. So keeping that goal utmost in mind as we talk about this process that I'll share with you, I think is critically important, and I commend you for keeping that goal front and center all the way along, because there will be bumps. And it's critical to keep your eye on that button. I'd also like to congratulate you for having taken the first step, which is the charge that you gave to President Gallo and to the presidents of the universities in your system. It takes courage and vision on your part to take that first step, to provide that direction, and it's essential. It's actually critical, necessary that you have provided that charge. University systems, you're pulling it forward into the future for students and for your state. I'd like to say just a little bit about NASH and this word systemness. As I mentioned to the presidents this morning, my wife hates this word, and I've struggled to come up with a new one, but it really does make sense. It really describes the value of the system, service to the state, to your students, that is greater than the sum of the institutional parts. That is not to diminish in any way, shape, or form the value and the power of the institutional parts. They're critical elements of your system. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a system. It would be a system office, be a state agency. Rather, it is a collection of systems of institutions working together to serve a larger set of state needs. NASH represents the systems in the country by, depending on how you define them, between 60 and 90 systems. 46 of the 50 states have systems. This is the prevailing mode for how states govern, manage the division of public higher education in those states. 75% plus of American public college and university students are in a system institution. So you are really important for not only Louisiana higher education goals, but also national higher education goals. NASH has three big goals, overarching goals. One is payment. One is cost effectiveness. And the third is social and economic. So that's what we work toward with all of our systems across the country, through the meetings, through research, and through consultation like this with you. Just a touch about me, as the president mentioned, I'm a senior fellow with the National Association of Higher Education Systems. I also do executive search work, covering university system head. There is a life, President Gallo, afterward. I led a strategic pathways process, we called it, in our entire system. Also a statewide philanthropy campaign, the first we ever did, and we were the land grant university without the land. And I won't go into that long sordid history, but led a congressional in-state land grant. So a very important and successful initiative. I also I don't have any hobbies, so I've been a faculty affiliate at Berkeley and was a SHIO, State Higher Education Executive Officer, and I continue to serve on advisory boards in Wisconsin. And if you want to save money on melatonin for the rest of your life, you can buy this book that just came out in 2024 from Johns Hopkins University Press on public university systems. And I edited. It really goes from A to Z, student affairs, accreditation, and etc. Really digging deep into what's possible for public university systems. Lean process improvement, function, structure, etc. So it's the most recent book on university systems and how they can realize their potential. Here's your charge. I sort of summarized it. I took a longish document and put it on one slide. What I'd like to just emphasize here is, again, congratulations to you for your insight and your decision to take step one of this important transformational process, this journey for strengthening the university system. I'll just emphasize, quote, the board now seeks to evaluate opportunities that more fully integrate operations, technology, academics, and athletics to enhance effectiveness, accountability, and sustainability. This is really important. You have provided charge to the administration to work together to achieve these goals. So I commend you again for that. This is a vision. It's not a beautiful vision, perhaps, but it's a vision for a university system. And I tailored it to you. This is just a template at this point. Nothing definitive at this point, just to give you a sense of what is possible. At the top in blue there with white print is all that is common. That's your system's mission, your system vision, your system values. This is all your language. Didn't make anything up. The bottom piece of this is what could be shared, what could be common across your university systems. You see, there are examples, just examples, what could be possible in academics, student services, administration, advancement. These can all be integrated more fully. And then finally, in the middle, these are areas, these are the campuses. And they're blank so that they can be filled in through this process. These are areas of distinction. These are areas of individual contribution that each of these unique institutions and unique environments can contribute to the whole University of Louisiana system. So yes, there's a little bit of tension in this, but I think it's a good tension. Most systems that are complex, and you are definitely a complex system, have tension, balance of internal forces and external forces. And that's what I try to capture here in one slide, is essentially all of what this university system could be. And we'll ideally, a year from now, be able to fill in some of these blanks. You are not, these are challenges, of course, that you're facing here in Louisiana, and these are challenges that are facing higher education systems all across the United States. I don't need to go into the details here or won't, but these will all ring true. I know you're experiencing these challenges. Again, you're not alone. Other systems have faced these challenges, and there are a number of options that will come before you. options to increase revenue. Talking with your CFO this morning about a particular idea for how to diversify revenue sources that I think may have some friction or some possibility here. Realigning campuses. An example would be campuses with very, very low enrollment, moving away from offering and delivering their own programs to campuses that are learning sites for other institutions, so that we indeed have more than one degree program and institution source at a single institution. Consolidating administration, this is often first place systems go as they integrate. I don't think many of your students come to any of your campuses because if that campus has its own payroll team or its own procurement office or complex grants administration. Student-facing programs clearly need to be led by and funded by what happens at that. A lot of you work staff office. So yeah, that's generally speaking the first step being taken to integrate systems. Single system accreditation has been explored and has been achieved in one state, now two actually, including college system in Connecticut, integrated with 11 campuses separately accredited into one accredited system, saves a lot of money. And also the University of Maine system has done the same thing. But only two that I'm aware of have done this. Accreditation system really is based on institutions, but that is, and the path has been laid there, and in fact, Nash is doing some work on setting up criteria. If regional accreditors wanted the opportunities to accredit systems as for in addition to institutions, there would be some state set up for them. So that is an option. And then program review, you just heard about a program review that took place at campus, so it's often been some program eliminations. Some systems have led that work. Well, so elevating the program to the system level, and then you can capture some of the opportunities that supervisor review raised about collaboration across campuses. So we can get rid of a program here or reduce it, and then another program comes in and step in and help that. So all those would be, and other options would be on the table as we go through a system integration and transformation process. This is a busy slide, but I start with really your charge. And you are at the top of this, where you would be making, you would be considering options and recommendations for President Gallo and making decisions as to how to move forward. But I want to call out this little cell here, System Integration and Transformation Task Force. You envision that in your charge. So that would definitely be involved here. But I think that to support that group, it would be important to create teams, transformation teams. And here we build on the strategic plan that you have already adopted. So there would be, you have 4 priorities in your plan. There would be 4 transformation teams that would analyze options, generate and analyze options, and flow that up to the task force that you include in charge. They would review those options, analyze those, and provide input to President Gallo. We would again analyze, assess, and then make recommendations to you. So that is a very high level. That would be the decision flow that we would recommend process. And down to the final slide in the presentation, the journey ahead. That process I just described would take place in the first year. So 3 phases. Phase 1 would be planning and preparation for your decisions. The timeline would be your decision making at this time next year. So a very inclusive process over the course of this year. Decision making would be January 2027. 2027 would be the issue year. And then 2028 would be when you really have built into the DNA of the University of Louisiana system these practices of new and continuous improvement. So in terms of behaviors, policies, etc., all of that will move forward. We built a culture really of adaptation, innovation, and continuous improvement. I had a chat with Supervisor Hogan last evening a little bit. This is a lot of what complex healthcare systems are going through as well. They're facing many similar kinds of challenges. So they really lead in many respects in creating a culture of continuous improvement and innovation. So that's, I think, a real value. It's in addition to the decisions that you will be making about your structure and functions here in the system, but it's really that culture, which, as we know, it's eats breakfast every day, right? That's the important outcome of the process. So with that, Mr. Chair, members of the board and President Gallo, that's the presentation. I'm certainly happy to take any questions.
Any questions or comments?
I know it's a very early question, but has there been any thought process as to how quickly commonality of information technology systems might come into play? You've got payroll, you've got finance, you've got the student forward-facing platforms. Where does that fall in this phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 continuum?
We've already begun conversations with key experts on this, but what really has to come, it'll be parallel to some extent, but governance issues have to be addressed first. Who owns what? What are those systems? Those need to be decided and then implementation of that. So there would be an IT team as well. And there would be connectivity across these teams also. So again, we've already had a conversation with the president and his team on integrating, or at least not perhaps so much integrating, but definitely coordinating.
Thank you.
And I was just going to ask, the way that it looks is that we're really not going to try to implement anything until January 2028 that we need appropriations for, which would be computer systems and the like, right?
Yes.
So it's a 2-year runway to get to when we would do something like that.
Yes.
And so by the time we would do that, how solid would the plan be?
Fair.
Yeah. So then if we're getting money for January of 2028, that would be the 28 budget year. So then we would be going after that next year. Okay. All right. Thank you. And so, well, one more thing. Will we be kept abreast of all this? And can I get this slideshow?
Yes.
Great. All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no, as I shared with the presidents this morning, and we were consistent in this messaging with the strategic plan, that this is something that we will do with you, not to you, right? And so you will absolutely have ample opportunity to be involved, not just be kept abreast, but to be involved in this process as we go forward. Because I do think we have a better product if we're all involved and everyone feels like they've got not only a seat at the table, but a voice in the process as well. And thanks for volunteering to be very much involved, Supervisor Stokes.
President, we have the your assurance and the folks that are spearheading this, that our presidents are going to be kept apprised from on a consistent basis. So their input, because of their individuality and their importance to our local communities, I think it's essential that they're involved in every step of the procedure.
I think involvement is the key word, Supervisor Salim, that all the presidents, as well as the task force that we identified, will be a part of this on an ongoing basis. So there won't be any advancing anything without the presidents, the provosts, the CIOs, CFOs, student leaders, faculty leaders being involved in every step of this process going forward.
It's certainly my hope that their involvement in the evaluations and considerations, and hopefully the development of a plan that ultimately would come before us, is going to truly reflect their work. And I believe, frankly, that is what is going to cause us to be successful when we get to that point. Everyone needs to be in a good spot to understand, and I echo President Gallo's comments. We're not doing this to you. We hopefully can give you the ability to have resources to grow and be more successful, focusing on those things that seem to just be the most challenging responsibilities you have that aren't busy work.
So yes.
No other questions. Thank y'all for the report. I would offer if any presidents would like to comment at this time. I know you'll have much time to be involved in the process, but you know, at the onset, if you have anything you want to offer at this time.
And to his credit, I certainly want to commend President Henderson that he was really an early adopter of this idea of systemness. You know, as he started talking about it, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, as a campus president, I don't know that I fully appreciated the significance of systemness. So again, I thank Jim for planting that seed. And I think this is really, we feel sort of like a system. This next step is really to act upon really taking the benefits of being a true system. So thank you, Jim.
All right. Hearing no other questions, system president's report at this time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to congratulate the new board officers and I appreciate your commitment and service to the board. Also look forward to our continued collaboration as we go forward. As a reminder, shortly after we conclude today's meeting, we will have lunch. The board will convene in room 165 and the staff in room 190. Then we will return to this room for board development. And of course, as you know, last year we committed to providing more learning opportunities for you, which we believe have proven to be successful. And K-16 Solutions, the kind host of last evening's reception, and Dr. Claire Norris and team will be leading our board development today, and they will talk about how technology is being utilized currently at 4 of our campuses in terms of our ability to access data and what it has yielded thus far and what the future looks like in terms of our ability to be more cohesive in data gathering and data access. On the University of Louisiana at Lafayette presidential search, we had the inaugural search committee meeting and public forum, which was held last Wednesday at UL Lafayette. During that meeting, the committee reviewed and approved the advertisement and timeline, gathered feedback from campus and community stakeholders, confirmed next steps in the recruitment process. With this milestone completed, the committee is now focused on receiving nominations and applications, with February 11th set as the preferred date for submissions. We remain committed to a transparent and inclusive process as we move forward, identifying semifinalists and scheduling interviews later in February. Again, this year, provided we don't get snowed in as possible, we will be headed to Washington, D.C. next week for Washington Mardi Gras. Additionally, a delegation of students will be there to engage with members of the congressional delegation. Of course, Dr. Calais will be coordinating our system presidents, and Brianna Golden, get Bree's new married name, will lead all of the system student leaders for the Board of Regents. Let's see, lastly, we do have one personnel matter. It is in on board that I would need approved, Mr. Chairman. So I need a motion and second to approve one personnel matter.
So we have personnel items presented by the president for consideration. I could have a motion and second.
I'm so moved.
Motion by Supervisor Nachala, second by Supervisor Salim. Any further questions? All in favor? Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank all of you again for being here today. We'll have a board development meeting after. We will meet in this room. We have lunch in a room nearby. So before we proceed to that, the state of Louisiana lost a very accomplished, talented, educational leader that served a significant purpose throughout our life. And I wanted to take an opportunity to recognize the contributions that Dr. Gallo's mother, Dr. Mildred Gallo, made to education in the state of Louisiana. And having to do so, we wanted to celebrate this collectively. And I did not put it on the agenda. So in proper order, I would need a motion and a second and a vote to expand the agenda for the adoption of a resolution recognizing the life of achievement of Dr. Mildred Gallo.
I'll move.
Moved by Supervisor Russell, second by Supervisor Peterson. All in favor? Do we need a roll call, Carol? So roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Thank you, Carol, and thank all of you for the opportunity to do this, provide this recognition today. I'll read the resolution. Whereas Dr. Mildred Bernice Gauthier Gallo was appointed to the Board of Supervisors for the University of Louisiana System by the Honorable Governor Kathleen Blanco on July 11, 2005, representing the 5th Congressional District. And whereas she exhibited knowledgeable and sound leadership as chair of the Academic and Student Affairs Committee for 2 terms. And whereas Mildred received her Bachelor of Science degree in Social Science Education from Grambling State University, her Master of Arts degree in Social Science from Louisiana Tech University, and a Doctor of Education degree in Curriculum and Instruction for Louisiana State University. And whereas Dr. Gallo skillfully served Grambling State University for decades in a variety of roles, including Property Control Officer, Professor, Coordinator of the Master of Arts in Teaching Social Sciences Program, Director of the Adams Gauthier Repository, and Distinguished Head of Department of History and Geography. And whereas Mildred distinguished herself as educator, author, and entrepreneur, and whereas she was a Fulbright Hays Scholar who also taught internationally and was a published historian specializing in African American history, and whereas she authored a history of Grambling State University, the first historical collection of facts about the university to be assembled into print, and whereas she was appropriately regarded as an exemplary mentor and friend, and whereas she was a life member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, and whereas Dr. Gallo was a faithful and active member of St. Benedict, the Black Catholic Church in Grambling, Louisiana, and whereas Mildred was a dedicated wife to Richard J. Gallo Sr., loving mother to their daughters, Daphne and Loretta, and son Richard J. Gallo Jr., and proud grandmother to 9 grandchildren and great-grandmother to 6. And whereas her beauty, warmth, and sweet smile will be missed by all who knew and loved her. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors for the University of Louisiana System would acknowledge and memorialize Dr. Mildred G. Gallo for her years of tireless service to the Board of the State of Louisiana. We could have a motion and a second to approve this resolution. Moved by Supervisor Pierre, second by Supervisor Peterson. Any discussion? All in favor? Say unanimous. Second. Unanimous, second is fair. We also have a commendation provided by our Honorable Governor Jeff Landry, recognizing Dr. Gallo's immense contribution to education in Louisiana and her leadership during her time. I'll read it real quick. Whereas Dr. Mildred Gallo, a distinguished educator, scholar, and community leader, passed away on December 26, 2025, at the age of 88, leaving a legacy of faith, scholarship, and service. Born in 1937 in Washington, Louisiana, she overcame early hardships, graduated valedictorian of Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School, and earned degrees from Grambling State, Louisiana Tech, and LSU. Whereas Dr. Gallo devoted decades of service to Grambling State University in key leadership roles, authored a history of Grambling State University, and was recognized as a Fulbright Hayes Scholar and historian of African American history. And whereas she served on the University of Louisiana System Board of Supervisors, chaired the Academic and Student Affairs Committee, and was a lifelong member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and St. Benedict the Black Catholic Church. Whereas united in faith and love, she married Richard J. Gallo Sr. and was a devoted mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother whose legacy of scholarship and service will endure. Under the name of Governor Jeff Landry, he hereby commended Dr. Mildred Bernice Gallo, Goche Gallo, for extraordinary contributions to education and public service, and extended his deepest condolences to her family and community. Thank you. So I've probably done my reading for the month. Thank you. Thank y'all for y'all's patience with me. In terms of items just to conclude today, we have two important dates in February that I would ask you to keep in mind. Our regular board meeting is scheduled for Thursday, February 26th in Lake Charles. Will be hosted by Dr. Nichols in the wonderful Emporium of Lake Charles at the campus of McNeese State. The next day, we're going to meet here, a special meeting for the purpose of interviewing finalists of the University of Louisiana System President Search, University of Louisiana at Lafayette Presidential Search, as mentioned earlier. We know that all of you will make efforts to be here and appreciate your attendance. Is there any further business to come before the board at this time?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, Dr. Nicholas indicated the day prior to the board meeting, they will, I guess, cut the ribbon on the new facility, and there will be a reception following that. And so if board members are able to come the day before, they will open this wonderful facility, and so we would encourage all of you to be there to help them mark the opening of the building.
Thank you. And again, just keep in mind our board development session that'll follow this meeting. We'll take a brief recess, but if I could have a motion and second to adjourn. Moved by Supervisor Basada, second by Supervisor Stokes. All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.